this is clanging day. I just feel like clanging because so many things on my mind. Yes, Ghost Cat, we're still pursuing and need you to make contributions. What I'm trying to get at, the mark now is set at $3 million because we will not pay our crew. That's for sure. So let me get it straight. Ghost Cat has some money, but we don't have all the money. We definitely want to avoid a scenario not paying people. If we hire people, that we should have the money dollar for dollar and pay them. Not like the government who just borrow money, keep borrowing money. We can't even pay the interest. Now, can you fathom that? They're just unanimously like, oh, this is a good deal to raise the debt ceiling. You know what that means? If you're a regular household, they just say your income is $50,000. I mean, it's fairly low. Then you go, okay, we cannot live off that, so we're gonna borrow money. To send your kid to school or whatever. Just say you borrow $30,000. And you're paying interest, I don't know, maybe you're paying like $2,000 a month on credit card bills. But imagine the United States of America is borrowing more than trillions of dollars we're indebted to other nations that if we cannot keep up with the payment, that means that they can confiscate our property. Means California is gone. Go to the CHICOM, and which they're pretty much, this is a smart strategy by CHICOM and by these all these South American countries. Yes, I said it, Honduras and Guatemala, El Salvador, they send their people here. They send their I don't know, what do you call those, caravans and tens of thousands, and they're like rapists. Yeah, not every one of them, but a lot of them, they're not stupid. They take a kid, they actually use the kid as a passport so they can get into our country and claim phony asylum by provided a note by the ACLU lawyers. And now we have these Obama-appointed judges that block the Trump order, says no more people that are seeking to try to say asylum, because we have 100,000, I am not kidding you, a month, who's living off your dollars, and not your dollar. I mean, you have to borrow money. Imagine that. If I cannot even sustain my own household and I have to go borrow $1 million 1 month, every month, so I can pay my neighbor's bill, like, oh, the guy's bill down the street, they're sick and they call the hospital or call ambulance or whatever. Just imagine that we're incurring $50 billion so far this year for just to take care of the illegal. That's costing us. And not to even mention the lives, the brutal murders from the MS-13 gang. So you say, why? Well, I'm not partisan. The Democratic Party has been hijacked by the Socialist Party, which is they're commies. They're communists. And basically, this AOC, the Nancy Pelosi, and those so-called the Democrats that seek to bring this president down, they're in cahoots. They're in cahoots now with the foreign government. So they're the ones that are guilty. And I can tell you for sure from watching this so-called Mueller being summoned by the House, whatever, the Judiciary Committee. When I say whatever, I mean there's two committees. I suppose they are run by Democrats. Of course, this has been from the very beginning. If you go back to 2016, I just want to tell you and break it down in layman's term when people are so confused, like, oh, what's all this? What's this Russia collusion? So let me just break it down for you. When there's an election, and then if you so-called cooperate, because, it's like a fight. And we do this in football. We try to, view tapes and find the opponent's weakness. So that's called strategy in a campaign. But the strategy from the Obama, also Clinton, Obama/Clinton, they thought they have a shoe-in. But then they were attacking, they were already conjuring schemes against Donald Trump, who was just a regular citizen. You say, how? Why? Because if you know the text messages, everybody knows this. from Peter Strzok and Page, the lover Page. And these are people working at FBI whom were supposed to be working for the integrity. I have to, this, like, I'm going to smack them. Whatever that, don't distract me. They were texting, in case this Donald Trump get elected, we have to have an insurance policy. So they're already brewing this insurance policy. Imagine that they have the whole State Department behind them, and they conjure up. And that's why if you saw any of the so-called hearing, because Nadler, who's a very evil Democrat, okay, I'm not saying all Democrats are bad, but the party has been hijacked by the left-wing extremist. He's the one who says, oh, well, since Mueller's report didn't come up with anything, 2 fucking years. And it sounds like not only they didn't get anything, but it enriched the Clinton contributors' pocket. Why? Because they hear everybody from the Clinton campaign. I'm not just saying that they're Democrats. They're actually donors and lawyers that work for the Clinton foundations. If you didn't know, then you're stupid. You have to know your stuff instead of going blindly saying, oh, well, yeah, impeach. Impeach what? Impeach yourselves, because you're allowing yourselves to be stupid and not know what the hell is going on. So when these text messages were by Strzok, were conveniently, there were thousands of them because they hated Trump. They said, how can we get him? They were deleted. There should be party evidence. Robert Mueller deleted them. But Robert Mueller was used as a figurehead by this so-called special counsel, what is so-called a special counsel thing, which is all bullshit, because we did not need to spend $25 or $40 million because the bill gets stacked up and these people are laughing, of course, from the Clinton and Obama camp. So they actually committed fraud and crime by employing this Russian, or not the Russian, this British spy called Steele, Christopher Steele, to write this dossier. It's like a novel, dossier. You just make up something. It's all dossier. So there's nothing official about that. And it's paid. This so-called dossier was paid for by Fusion GPS. That's why it's so important, because this is a whole phony document. It really runs in the vein of Stalinists. Remember, their motto was, you find me a man, I'll find you a crime. And that's not what United States citizen was about. Well, that's not our liberty, our founding father is about. It's not about framing your citizens. You ought to be scared if you have escaped or left your home country. I mean, for example, like China, okay? So nobody even talk about racist stupid shit, because I don't want to get into it. There's so many people try to race bait me. How dare you to race bait me? Because if I'm the minority and you're calling me a racist, that means if race was in your eyes, then you're the fucking racist. So you have no right to use that on me. But the fact is, so the Clinton had colluded. When I say collude, it's a normal term, because even Robert Mueller was asked about, is collusion a crime? No, he said it isn't. But then the question was, well, in your report it says that collusion is like equivalent, synonymous with conspiracy. Oh, conspiracy! You know what they're trying to do? They're trying to frame Donald Trump as a traitor with Russia. Based on that, you know how ridiculous that is. That Russian, they were trying to say Russian. I'm just so angry, because they're trying to dangle this fucking piñata that's not even there. That, what did they do? They shake you. They make you vote for Trump. You go, oh, I gotta vote for Trump because it's the Russians that somehow had this hacked the email. Well, Clinton was a criminal. The so-called hacked emails, they were national top secret. And she just allowed everybody to kill our CIA agents, like in China. If you knew that, a lot of these our secret service agents were found and shot because of the Clinton emails. And that also explains what happened with the Libya, with our ambassador just hush, got brutally murdered, and they say possibly sodomized by the Al-Qaeda. So I want to get back to this whole thing about why we have all this our tax dollars and the money that we don't even have, that we have to borrow, and now wasting the whole country's energy on this trying to, I gotta get dirt on Donald Trump, when in fact they framed them. Because you saw Jim Jordan. Jim Jordan is a good guy. I am just gonna straightforward. There are good guys and bad guys. He just, he said, why didn't you charge Mustafa, who's the original figure that, the so-called the investigation of special counsel on this Russian collusion. Well, he was the one that supposedly disappeared, mysterious figure, and he was the one who brought this Misataya, this Russian so-called the inside job. They call them honey. So there's always a woman like, oh, I got dirt. So basically, they use this Russian woman. That woman was directly hired by Fusion GPS. Then that is why Robert Mueller should fucking slap himself if he either played dumb by saying, I don't know what Fusion GPS. Fusion GPS is run by Glenn Simpson, who is also the confidant of the Clinton cartel. Okay, the Clinton crime cartel. And they got this, the honey, okay, so we can even make a movie about this. We got dirt. So she's like somehow got hold of the Don Jr. We have dirt on the opposition. Well, you always have opposition research. You're stupid, you're a fool if you don't attack your opponent, right? I mean, that's in football game, that's in every campaign. So there is not a crime in collusion, but they hate Donald Trump so much they want to say collusion is conspiracy. No. Even Robert Mueller slipped when he said, no, that is not a crime. But then immediately he was asked that, your report says that collusion is considered to be conspiracy. Then he was stuck. So basically, he did not want to go to jail, so he played dumb. And people thought, well, does he have dementia? Because everything is out of my purview. That's one thing I didn't know what purview was about. It means that it's out of my scope. This happened like 10 months before I was in charge. $25 million fucking dollars and still counting. They're still billing us. So bend over, America. There it comes again. We're getting screwed on every which end. Basically, that's what's happening. And we're allowing the foreign invasion. There's probably more. They're saying, they're guessing, because they don't know how many illegals are in our country, and because this so-called the citizenship question is being blocked on our census, so we'll never know. Now, of course, the Democrat doesn't want you to know, because it will be easier for the Democrats to put a gun to your head than to support 100 people that were going to vote for them. If you support them, they're just going to tax the shit out of you, and then you'll support every one of them. There are at least 30 million illegal in the United States now, who's either in hiding or who's killing our citizens or who is doing drugs. My favorite, even this is a long time ago. My favorite director, all right, Bob Clark, who directed Christmas Story. Don't tell me you never saw Christmas Story. That was so heartwarming. And he spent a lot, he's so talented, flesh, blood, and energy. I just admire, I love how he tells his story. I mean, that's the only movie I can watch like whole Christmas Day, Christmas Eve, all the way to New Year. Killed by the illegal and who was deported. So you spend all this time, money, there is no ramification. There is no recourse. It means that you deport them, you send them, you buy them tickets, they're happy. They keep coming back. He was killed by the illegal here in California. In fact, I was so mad. I was just looking up directors. I was so mad. And this was like over 10, 15 years ago. So this has problem you cannot ignore. Our citizens are on the streets. You cannot ignore that. It's brought to you by the Democrats in California. The Democrats, the demons and the rats. Because they don't want you to know how many of the illegal, the invaders are here. And they just block the Trump order and saying, oh, well, no, anybody can seek asylum. And in fact, that dilutes the real asylum, political asylum persecuted people like such as Thomas Robinson. Tommy Robinson is persecuted by now the Al-Qaeda that's embedded in Great Britain because he spoke out against this Al-Qaeda were doing the human smuggling of children or women, and then they have these secret ceremonies. They mutilate the women's genitals and all that kind of stuff. So all he did is just like holding a cell phone outside the courthouse and make a report, and he's in jail. So he wants asylum. Now that's a legitimate refugee or asylum seeker, not people that are rushing our borders and holding up, a kid. I mean, Trojan horse, you remember that? You're not stupid. You're not that stupid, right? They circulate these people, right? And now the Marines is caught by smuggling people in here. And you know why? So that they can suck the tit of America. I mean, this is not sensationalism. What did I say? Sensational. I put it on my Facebook, and Brian or other people were like laughing at me or something. Like that's the only thing that titillating. I wasn't trying to titillate you. I'm just trying to make you see that. How could you suck the tit of America and fucking stab her? And that's what they're doing. They're stabbing us to death. And give us more. So this whole thing about whole thing, if you didn't like I say thing, it's a thing. About this Russia. When Donald Trump said it's a witch hunt, it's worse than a witch hunt. It's a setup. It's a pure entrapment. Imagine if someone that a co-worker vehemently accuse you of a crime, because it is basically they're saying Donald Trump committed treason. Tell me that's not a crime. And then so he ought to be shot. Basically, that's what they're saying. This is just so ridiculous. When they set him up, they send that Russian woman, Mrs. Tayev. I don't know her name, but anyways, you can look it up. She went to the Trump Tower, and that's why they spent 350 words or so many pages on this woman who said, "I want to meet Donald Trump Jr." or whatever, and Trump Jr. said she's a phony. She's a setup. Right away, he knew it, because they're saying, "Oh, he loved it." Yeah, I would love it too if I'm Bill Belichick and it's a Super Bowl. You know a certain play that's gonna be in the book by the Eagles. I would love to know that, a surprise play or whatever. Like 3rd and goal. What do they usually go to? A fake run formation. I would like to know. I mean, that's why you say, how could why do people need to raise $1 gazillion for a campaign? And see, it's a strategy. This is a principality of the darkness. We break that. We break that lying spirit in this misreporting from CNN, MSNBC, and the Don Lemons and the Mad Dog and the turncoat of Scarboroughs. I call you out that you have blood on your hands. Our American loving Donald Trump, our president, for the people, and you are for the foreign powers of invasion. In fact, that your boss Hillary Clinton sold out our uranium to the Russians. If you didn't know that, uranium is a key element to develop nuclear weapon. And imagine your opponent get permission, because it's not easy to get it is top secret material to get the State Department and everybody to say okay the deal. But they okayed it, and now Russia owns 20% of our uranium of United States, and you can look that up. I am not lying, and I'm not kidding. So this whole thing about the so-called dossier Russian connection, it's not only a hoax. It's not. It was deliberately created by the Obama administration along with Hillary Clinton to set up Donald Trump in case, as Peter Strzok texted it, if he gets elected, this is our insurance policy, we'll go to this plan, and all that under our nose. And it should have been, this is it was not just a nothing burger. It just shows you how vicious this Hillary Clinton, how vicious these Democrats are. And they use the phony dossier, so-called the Christopher Steele. There was like nothing but salacious stuff. Like they say, remember? They were saying Donald Trump had hired a prostitute in Kremlin or whatever, and had prostitutes be on the bed or something like that. Just imagine that with a novel, a speculation, and you went to the FISA court, because it's a secret court. And you think that we're living in some kind of democratic country? You're wrong. We have secret courts. So the FISA court, it's like, involving some kind of foreign interference and whatever. So they went to that secret court. They're judges as well. Oh, I don't know what they look like. They probably look like Masons, or I don't mean that they're bad people. They're just like mysterious people. And then they gave the warrants, so that FBI used this warrant to harass regular citizens. And one of them, that's what they were talking about, people's lives are ruined. It could be you. Because if someone framed you, even from your work, they can say, you stole, oh, we know you did this. And I've been framed. I don't know about you. Just even little frame, like, some cop accused me of, oh, you're veering off, and I want to give you a DUI test or whatever. I didn't veer off. You say you almost hit another car. There was no other cars. I was just trying to speed up. I have a 4-cylinder car. I can't get on the freeway. You're freaking... you're going 89 miles an hour behind me. I'm just trying to get on the freeway. But they will frame you, you see. So you already know little things like in your life. You could be framed. But to lose your house, your family, to be locked up and to be treated like an animal, like what they did to Roger Stone, you cannot be oblivious, because Roger Stone was very outspoken during the election 2016. So what the Democrats is doing is flexing their muscles. Just like Google tried to punch me so that my videos gets very reduced, and because the algorithmically they have reduced from millions of views to like 20, 30, whatever. There, if I did not believe there's a God in heaven and earth, I would probably, like that poor chick that went to YouTube and basically killed herself. So what happens is, what was the point? Roger Stone point. Yeah, I mean, one day he said he woke up because he lives in Florida, and there were like, we have FBI agents up the wazoo. There were 35 those armed SWAT teams. He's an old guy. He lived with his wife, who really was hard of hearing. He was afraid the wife might get shot, because if someone, this is what happens. If the cops, they tell you, raise your hands up. If you don't, they take it as maybe, I don't know, you're thinking you're fumbling for your driver's license. They could shoot you. Okay? So basically, he was worried about the wife's life, and these people, the SWAT team, swarmed his house, treated a regular citizen like, gospel. They said that which is like the commies, they were taking their enemies. I can think of is like in China, the Fu Guanglan. They were just without a trial, they will arrest you and put a funny hat on you, and they will write your crime. For example, they will say insurrection for what? Just because you're Fulan Guan, and then they'll take you. There's no trial. They take you or shoot you. They actually, in China, is worse. They'll shoot you execution style with, I guess 4 or 5 different, what do you call, sharpshooters from the government, the federal government, and then they will bill each bullet to your family. I just read about this. Is scary. Also, another layer is these people, they're animals. They're very evil. Right after that, before your body gets cold, they want to carve your parts so they can keep them fresh, like the hearts and kidneys and livers and eyeballs or whatever they can use. It's money to them, so they will preserve it. And you and I know, I'm now an advocate for, like, do not put donate, organ donor on your driver's license, because the greed. I mean, seriously, even if you're in a coma, you're not dead, they will pronounce you dead and you are still alive, and they will carve your body up, and you will feel the pain. So this is what I'm saying, because they want to get the parts as fresh as possible. They don't want to wait till you're totally dead. So I was just talking to my friend, I'm sorry for veering up, but about this, and I said, Falun and these being persecuted, this is like a sect in China. You know, you have no freedom in China. That's why Hong Kong is protesting. After 100 years, they were under British rule. They're prosperous. They have a free economy. But when you start caging the people like, beasts, like animal, control them. That's what China does. They're not gonna be taking it sitting down. There's just like massive protests and everything. So this AOC and these folks like Nadlers and Adam Schiff and these people, so-called Judiciary Committee, and these like, we're mightier, we're here to impeach Donald Trump, and they're thumping their chest that they're impeaching Trump. In fact, these are the evil people that eventually, if they are not going to bring our country down to the ground, like what this Ilhan Omar who's the other person, that who says that Al Qaeda, like, she actually is for Al Qaeda. They think that their people are better than the white man. Who's the person that hates white man? So in effect, this is like to our detriment, that you're breeding all these CNN, and you're breeding hatred for America into every man and woman's heart, and damn are you, so cursed are you. And what's the point? The point is, I'm just saying, this is fairly easy to just be able to see through all this. I mean, I'm not that intelligent. I'm not a genius. I am not a political analyst, but I can see it so clearly as a daylight how they framed Donald Trump and Trump Jr. And now they're saying, this is just like the Pharisees in the old days. They could not find fault with Jesus. So remember that they were saying, oh, Caiaphas, what about this? Somebody said that he's calling that he was the king of the Jews. So he's committed insurrection because only Caesar is king, and so forth. So they just make phony charges. But Pilate said, hey, look, I'm going to let this guy go. I cannot find any guilt. There is nothing wrong, nothing he did wrong. I mean, even those days, they have a little bit of freedom of speech. Even if somebody say, you say that you're a son of God to Jesus, he said, you said it, I am. You cannot condemn somebody for that. But then they say, we're going to kill him anyway, because that's against Caesar. If he's the son of God, he's bigger than Caesar. Anyways, so they were twisting the arm of Pilate, who was the Roman governor at that time. They're twisting his arm and said, well, if you don't set this guy, sentence him to death, sentence Jesus to death, then you're no Caesar's friend. So he was scared. He backed out. Pilate was not stupid. He says, I got to let this guy go. He has not committed any crime that's worthy of death. So same thing here. Donald Trump has not only committed any crime. His only crime is probably because he's a patriot. He wants to protect our country from foreign invasions. And with this behemoth government that pays food stamps for everybody who applies, and this automatic register to vote if you apply for a driver's license in California, which would allow foreign nationals to get a driver's license and then automatically send them a packet when time to vote. Then you see your votes are nothing. They don't give a rat's ass. As long as they can put a gun to your head, so to speak, to make you pay taxes. More merrier to them, because there are unlimited 40 million of South Americans are coming. So if you're not for Donald Trump, then you are a traitor. And this I go for AOC and the Nadler, the Adam Schiff, and all you evil people. You're gonna go down. And that's that.